This is, from my perspective, the past year of my life has really been even though I've never taken a class in game theory, I barely understand any of it. I have a few game theorists that I'm in very sporadic contact with, as I've mentioned periodically. But the present situation is like 100% Hegelian game theoretic reasoning. Have any of you read The Phenomenology of Spirit? I invite you to. I invite you to read The Phenomenology of Spirit. There are probably a number of you that have been invited to read Hegel over the years, and you never have. So if you're in the United States right now, the geographic territory of the United States, go to, what's the website that they have all the Hegel materials on? Marxists.org. Marxists.org, I think. Even the most remotely related Marx texts are up there, including, I think, most of Hegel. Phenomenology of Spirit. So I've been in the game theoretically solipsistic position, and isn't it interesting? We have a mythology about John Nash that is kind of solipsistic, right? Solipsistic, positional, indexical, probabilistic, projection and anticipation, right? Projected, thrown, projected, thrown, disclosure, right? I've covered a number of angles over the past months, including so much about my personal life, I just don't want to belabor the point. In the game theoretic sense, the hypothetical that we're living through right now is roughly the following. Out of the set of all philosophers, there is one philosopher who has maximal third-person abstract information about the system. In other words, about all the systems of all the other philosophers. There's exactly one that has that kind of knowledge of the system. Okay, so that's like descriptive fact number one about the hypothetical. Descriptive fact number two is discursive partitions are enforced, augmented, sustained by normative or axiological performative acts. Pardon the phrase. I retract performative. Occam's wagging his finger at me. There are certain discursive partitions, the separations between discourses. Anthropology department, biology department, chemistry department, physics department, right? Good. Everybody knows that you can sit in a physics 101 course. Where are all the examples from? I don't know. Childhood games, balls rolling down inclines and declines and stuff, and levers and fulcrum, stuff like that, right? Which discourse is that? Is that childhood discourse or is that physics? The only thing that decides it is conventional human behavior, social mores. That's the only thing. Now, people like me, historically, whether we're called dirtbags, losers, dilettantes, or the much more euphemistic polymath, we probably have some kind of learning disability that prevents us from spending very much time in any one particular thing. But we are absolutely motherfucking dogged. Certain people, polymaths. Polymaths tend to be fucking dogged. It's like we conceptualize our life according to a single rule, and then we relentlessly berate ourselves. How is it possible that this whole fucking mess follows from that one rule? That's a very polymathic sort of ethos that I have. I was born that way. So that means if it's through and through, if it's true that extends through and through, it affects my sex life in all the ways that I've articulated. It affects my friendships, the ways that I've articulated, and so forth, over all these months. And as it turns out, it just so happens, as a matter of pure historical accident, that I just so happen to be like this half-crazy mystic who way, way over-identifies with human reason. Critique of pure reason itself. Nice to meet you. So whether or not it's a good idea that the libtards, the woke libtards come roaring back, or the Enlightenment or reason or whatever the fuck, classical, canonical reason, whether or not it's culturally a good idea, the fact of the matter is you're stuck with this. And I can see just as well as y'all can see. I don't even have to finish the sentence, right? I don't know, open up like Giorgio Agamben or something. Like, isn't there some exception to the rule or some shit like that? Open up Rogues, Jacques Derrida, exceptions. The democracy that needs to stand as an exception to its own to its own meaning in order to remain sustainable as a principle, lest it be usurped by a totalitarian Sharia law government. Open up, Rogues. Voyous, Jacques Derrida, voyous. I read 2, 3, 4 pages of it. Also, those videos are up. The English version I read. Three 3 reasons professional academics stay out and think they can abstain right now. Number 1, the fetishism of impartiality. Number 2, the black belt lethal weapon principle. If the fight is not fair, if you get into a street fight and you have a black belt and you don't tell your opponent that you're a trained fighter and you kill the guy, you may very well face legal consequences if you haven't registered your hands as a deadly weapon and so on. Correct? Dear philosophers, y'all sit on a stack of PhDs. Your hands are registered deadly weapons, correct? So it's an unfair fight, and therefore you have moral qualms because you know you will not only win the fight, you will destroy your enemy. Not physically. We have ahimsa, right? Conceptually. They literally will turn around and run away. And then we worry, well, how much anger is in the country that it can really erupt because of anger about pure concepts? Because I'm telling you, we're not attacking people here. This is not mudslinging. We're attacking arguments for being weak. That's what we're doing. Number 3, maybe it's only a half-baked qualm, but I think it's there. Classism. Moreover, residual Christian guilt based on classism. Classist guilt. If you're a professor at MIT or Harvard, you know that you have so much more cultural power than people that are not from where you're from. Right? So it's classist. It's an unfair fight because you're fighting with your hands are registered lethal weapons, or maybe they're not registered lethal weapons, right? And then the conscience component of that it's an unfair fight. Apropos voyous, open it up. Maybe you're Giorgio Agamben, something about a state of exception. I don't know. Plenty of critical theorists and post-critical theorists have talked about this sort of thing. Just turn your fucking swivel chair around and look behind you at it's sitting right there. It's 5 feet away from you. It's sitting in front of you in your library. Look, if the Adam Smith system or the economic system is such that the government steps in, the markets go out of whack, the government must step in, right? P.J. O'Rourke, necessary evils. Oh well, we got to do it, right? Letters works the same way. Pure reason works the same way. I don't even know if I'm using the term right, but I'll use it. State of exception, motherfuckers. For the defense of the dignity and honor of pure reason. You will now, please, I humbly request, and I have humility, I'm fucking nobody. Everybody who has lethal arguments, put them to work now, and we can have the entire government retired by breakfast. Please. Thank you for your attention to this message.